Nerdrotic.com.
Keri, we left off last time with just one story, but I want to really want to hear about the comedy part of it. So
comedy part. Well, I worked in comedy. I had my own company. Eventually, my partner and I started a company called Whitesmith Entertainment, where I managed comedians, she managed musicians. So we were a small boutique company. Our flagship artists that we started with were Margaret Cho and Amanda Palmer. Amanda Palmer doesn't have eyebrows. I thought we were about to go all the way to Palmer. Full Palmer.
No.
Do it. Keri, that's all I'm going to say.
Wandering around without eyebrows will really fuck a person up. And
well, those were the artists we started with. And then when we had our own company, I was able to work with comics that I chose myself instead of working at a larger management company where sometimes you're assigned people. So I tended to work with comics who also believed in social justice ideology. And for the most part, there were maybe a couple who weren't as hardcore. W. Kamau Bell was a comic that I signed. We sold a show to FX called Totally Biased, which I kind of view as one of the first explicitly social justice late night shows. I mean, all the shows had been sort of leftist for a while, but they had never been overtly social justice, where we were doing pieces about like whether it's okay to tell rape jokes or, what things were considered taboo. We had Hari Kondabolu was one of the comics who wrote for us, and he did a piece on Apu and how Apu was racist. Oh. And we can see, where that's led now. But so we were doing explicitly social justice comedy, and I felt really good about it. Like, the thing about a lot of people who are in this belief system is you really believe that you're doing something good. It does function almost as a religion. If this is a way to end bigotry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You feel like it's about helping people. You feel like it's about changing the world for the better. It's very good at hiding what it really is. And so working on that show, I felt really proud of it. I felt like we're doing righteous work. Mm-hmm. However, what's funny is on the other side of all that stuff, I had a friend ask me recently, she said, take your year in New York when you were working on the TV show. You're at the height of your career. You're making TV money. Chris Rock is another executive producer on the show. You have this sort of status and you have money, and your happiness level then compared to your happiness level now. And what's the difference? And it's not even close. Like, I would rather be on this side of it and sort of operate in a way where I'm trying to figure out what I actually think about things for myself, even if it takes me a while, and not have that status and money and all those things that are ultimately, I think, they're not very meaningful in the long run. So, because even though things where, I'm sure you've all been in a place where you gain these things and you find out that they're not worth anything. Like, look at Kanye West. Kanye West is someone who I kind of view him as, he reached the height of what's attainable in the world, like in what's valuable, what the world considers valuable. And he found it severely lacking. And it made total sense to me when he had a spiritual awakening. I was like, of course, that's where he's good, because he's looking for meaning. Or like when Chappelle left the Chappelle show, what did the media say? They said, oh, he's gone crazy. He's turning down $30 million. He's insane. It's like, or is he actually realizing what's important to him?
And it's hard for the entertainment industry to see outside of that, because they largely believe they're the pinnacle of everything. Everybody wants to be us, and like a lot of people do. And there is a way to work there and be spiritually healthy. I wouldn't know how to do it, but
they are their own gods, and they view others. I mean, literally, they called Harvey Weinstein God.
And God, Harvey Weinstein.
So
I think there are grounded people who manage to work in it, but they're very few. And I think they have to be grounded before they become famous. Like Chappelle is someone who I got to interact with him a few times, just casually and through friends. I had a friend who worked with him closely, and he seems very authentic. And I think he was grounded before all this stuff happened to him. But then someone like can I talk about people? Someone like Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a total monster. But you know what I like about Chris Rock is he'll at least say, He'll say I'm a monster. He at least he's self-aware
Dropping
about
the
it.
T.
You know, I see somebody like Gina Carano. I think Gina Carano gained a lot of status in a complete other thing with the MMA fighting. So I think maybe she sees the acting as kind of gravy. And
Yeah, she's got nothing to prove. She's like,
Yeah.
I already proved myself over there. I'm just doing this for fun. I can say what I believe. That's fine.
She's from outside of the bubble. She didn't like make her way there first. She was successful in another career, transitioned to that. So she hasn't been indoctrinated with all this bullshit all the way through. That's kind of how I see it.
Oh, are people going after? I don't know enough about Gina Carano. Are people going after her for being insane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
People told her that she had to put pronouns in her bio, and she was just like, no. So then they all just call her transphobe and all this stuff, just because she doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Keri. I think you would find a lot if you kind of looked into the Gina Carano stuff. I think you would be very interested to find out everything that's gone on with her, because they have it's an all-out attack on her, and which she, to my knowledge, and maybe somebody can correct me, but she hasn't actually said her politics. I mean, if you do the slightest bit of research, you can kind of connect the dots to where she is, but she hasn't actually specifically made any blatant political statements, correct?
Never once has she said, I support this party or I support this candidate.
Yeah, she hasn't.
Right. But because she just won't fall in line with the mob mentality, they have labeled her all of these things. And it's just been, and there's articles now that's hit, big time publications about Star Wars fans are trying to get her fired for offensive comments and all of this shit. It's just been crazy.
I'm blanking on the movie now, but the old 70s film with Donald Sutherland where the humans are getting Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that film. Yes, they see you, you're different. There's something different about you.
Yep.
They have to point you out, but that's how I view it. Yeah. So the rest of the story, I guess, would be just that I was at a certain point when I started leaving my old beliefs, which is around 2016. I was in the middle of pitching another pilot, another SJW comedy show. And we'd been pitching it for a couple of years. Sometimes the pilot process, of course, can be very long. So from the time that we conceived of this and wrote it up, and then we got Lionsgate involved as a production company, and then we got a network to pick it up and pay for the pilot. That had been about a year or two. And so I had already moved out to Texas by then, but I was still trying to work in my company and in my old field. And I was flying out to LA to shoot the pilot with the comedian I worked with. And I just didn't believe in it anymore, because it was, this is a show. We're going to tackle different isms with comedy in each episode. And I just felt like I just don't believe in this stuff anymore. It had been a long transition, but I started to feel like a fraud. And I had this moment of thinking, well, if it gets picked up, that's good money, but I'm going to feel like a total fake. And I can't say what I really believe. So fortunately, God took that out of my hands. The show didn't get picked up, and then I pretty much closed my company after that. And my partner and I went our separate ways. And I wrote an essay first that was called "Leaving the SJW Cult," because I was trying to explain to a lot of my friends who were concerned about me what was sort of changing with me, because they noticed, the nature of her post is different. She's posting about, she's trying to figure out why Trump won instead of just accepting that it's racism. She's posting these things that are outside of what's allowed.
Keri's actually thinking for herself. Oh my God.
Thoughts are dangerous.
Dangerous.
And I had a friend come out to Austin and do a sort of an intervention with me. She was sort of joked that it was an intervention.
Wow.
Yeah.
Intervention.
Yes, it was that. She said she'd been getting several calls from our mutual friends, many of whom I'd worked on TV show with, and other friends in entertainment, and in that social justice world of entertainment that I was in. And they were concerned about me. They wanted to know what was wrong with me, like what was happening with me. And she told me that, she said, humans are tribal. And I said, I agree. I think we are tribal. I think it's part of our biological drive. And sometimes we have to fight against that tribal nature, right? I didn't want to leave social justice and just join another tribe. But she said, well, you've already joined another tribe. That's the way we view it. And once you leave the tribe, you can't come back. And I said, well,
It really is Scientology.
I don't think I want to come back.
That is a cult.
You're a subversive person, Keri.
If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing the videos. It really does help. And if you did this with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.